Hey guys, Desolate Gaming here, and I'm going to tell you how to beat the Frankenstein Slot machine from Light & Wonder. That's right, the original one, not the new one called Frankenstein Returns with the wheel on it. So the newer one is 34443 for column height. The original is 33333, however, the first one just looks taller. So this is the prize layout, and as you can see, some of them have multipliers on them, and that changes over time. So, hey, stored true progress, that means you can advantage play it. So when is it in a positive state? That is what everybody wants to know. And the rumored numbers I've heard being passed around on the internet are, just 8 or 10 total-ish, I guess. That is so unbelievably incorrect, it angered me to the point where I put 25 hours into figuring out what the actual answer is. Leave a like and subscribe. I'm giving out all this info for free. So the game's really simple, but in case you've never played it and just want to know what you're getting in for, I'll give you a quick summary, but just go watch anybody playing it on YouTube. If you get the It's Alive symbol, which only shows up on column 1, then however many heads you get, that is the number of shots you get at the pay grid. A flaming head is a guaranteed shot at the red grid, however, you can just have a regular head hit that one too. In fact, that happens around 4% of the time. And then, of course, the overwhelming majority of the time you hit the mini. Probably because the mini is only 16.6 times your bet on average, and the minor is like 26.6, which isn't too much. The maxi, though, is 50, and then the major is 995 times your bet, approximately. I think it's a progressive, too. And the super and the grand, yeah, good luck. Literally. Like, you would need a lot of luck to hit those. I like my version of the pay grid better, though. That's how many times your bet it is, and it changes based on denom within the same cabinet, which really didn't help the math on this one. So on the pay grid, you notice there are multipliers. Well, that's if you get this power-up symbol right here. That just puts, I believe, 1 multiplier onto it. I feel like I should know if it's 1 or more, but none of the casinos I go to, except for one, had this machine, and it's the furthest away one, and I haven't been there in about a year. That's right, I did all these calculations for a machine that I can't even play. Did I mention you should subscribe? We got a whole playlist on how to beat casinos. This ain't the only one. And then the free games show up. 1 in every 120 spins is what I got. But I'll tell you right now, I did not watch enough spins to know what that number is because it wasn't important. But the average amount of total heads that you get in the free games, which is 8 free spins with taller reels, is 7.5. So my numbers I just put in, well, that was technically 1 spin that you paid for, and then you got about 7.5 heads. But if you were to get 2 of the It's Alive symbols and 4 heads, you actually get 8 shots at it, and they're independent shots. It doesn't just hit 1 and then double it. So let's say you found the grid to be in a positive state. It has enough multipliers that it is slightly in your favor. How many spins are you in for on average? That's where it gets weird. A lot of people hit it in 1 through 3, and I saw a lot of 40 to 80s. However, the actual average was 1 in 16, almost exactly to the number. So on average, it's going to take you 16 spins to get there. Now, more often than not, you will actually hit it far before 16. In fact, the median in the sequence, which I don't care to explain, but if you're a math person, it was 11. But for accuracy, I have to use the average because bad runs happen and you have to factor them in. You can't advantage play with optimism. So for every activation, including the free game hits, because why would you not, 3.64 heads per time that It's Alive shows up. So about 3.5 shots at it every time, which is kind of nice. Also on the grid, get this, you have almost exactly even odds for every value. I know, I was shocked. Even more shocking is that it almost never lands on spot number 1, which is the lowest one. I just ranked them from low to high, so bottom right corner is number 1. That only got hit 10% of the time. And the whole first half, there was a trend lower, so I might be off on that one. But 8, it didn't feel like hitting very often, and 9 was 2.8% of the time. It just does not like number 9. Otherwise, it seems to be very close to even odds for it to hit 7, 6, 5, and 3. It has something against the number 4. And then it way overhits number 2. I think what they actually did, I wish I was kidding because I'm originally a software engineer and this just makes my head hurt. They just took a whole bunch of portion from 4 and put it on 2. If you redo the numbers with that in mind, it's almost exactly 50% out of one container and into the other. But I mean, the rough numbers I got are about 10% of the time it hits a 1, 18% of the time it hits a 2, 12% of the time it hits a 3, 10% of the time it hits a 4, 12% of the time it hits a 5, 11% of the time it's a 6, 11% of the time it's a 7, 9% of the time it's an 8, and 2.8% of the time it's a 9. Yes, those are rounded. No, I won't show you the spreadsheet because then someone's just going to steal my numbers. Anyway, screw all those other websites. I got some numbers for you. Speaking of numbers, if you want all these guides in one place, I'm giving the info for free because I hate people who charge for it. But if you want like a PDF that's searchable with all the guides, a little explanation, all that, that's way faster than like looking my video back up. You can just pull it up at the casino. It's a couple bucks over my Patreon. Or if you just made a ton of money and want to support me. Right now, I got a ton of support over there, and I love each and every one of you. But if you just want this info for free, that's why I'm putting it out here, so don't feel obligated. But link in the description or comment if you want to check it out. All right, here's my official guide. So if you had 0 multipliers on the grid whatsoever, you're starting from absolutely blank, which I don't think would reasonably happen. You would have a return of 13.7. 13.7 what? Trust me, it's not important what the units are. But if you really care, that would be an RTP, return to player percentage of 80.5%, give or take. So you'd be giving the casino 20% of your money if you play it with no multipliers. So what you want to do is get it up to at least 17 to be 101% RTP. Now, you ain't making money at 101% RTP. That is within the rounding error, okay? That's just the break-even point. You should not play to the break-even point. I cannot stress that enough. Like, if we're going $2, $3, $4 bets, yeah, I ain't even touching it unless it's 19. Well, what do I mean by that? It's pretty much exactly what it says on the guide, which is nice, because I thought it was pretty understandable. So that's the pay grid. I chopped the top because the top doesn't matter, and I put a 0 in for the maxi, because it never shows up. I'm not even kidding. In all the spins I watched, it quite literally never showed up. The major did, but it was so anomalous and the maxi didn't that I just deleted it into my numbers. The contribution percentage was comical. Okay, it didn't throw it off much. So all the values on the left grid are rounded, obviously. They're down to like the 8th digit in reality. However, nobody's going to punch that into their calculator, and I rounded them all down. If I rounded them up, I might risk there being a condition where you would add them up. You'd get to like 17.01 on the dot and then play it. But the real return to player would be, on penny denomination, like 98%. And the old joke is, well, let's just play it at 98% and we'll make it up in volume over time. And that's the old advantage play joke, because no, you won't. If you see my channel at all, somebody please, for the love of God, tell Shane that. He'll see a 10 on Magic Treasures and be like, well, it's got to be close enough, right? It affects the go-off chance and the number of balls you get, so it's like exponential-ish. Anyway, so obviously I took the average return for every line and then multiplied it by the amount of the time that it shows up, making what they call a weighted value. Now, don't actually take 13.7, put it in your calculator, and then start adding values to it. If you're starting from 13.7 and you want to get to 19, then you need them to add up on the left to 5.3. So just add them up and see if it's 5.3. Way simpler way to do it. In fact, watch to the end of the video if you want an even simpler way to do it. Here's just like an example mock-up I made in Photoshop. So you want to get from 13.7 to 19, preferably. Maybe even higher if you're playing tighter, So you need the numbers on the left to equal 5.3, because that is the difference between them. Well, the bottom row is blank, which is kind of promising. Spot number 4, which is the $50 spot, has an X2. Now, you wouldn't say, oh, it's 2 units of 0.75. No, every single line has a 1X on it, so it's only an additional 1X. So it's 1 unit of extra win. Okay, so middle, spot number 5, $75, nothing. And then the $100 spot has 1 multiplier, so that's 1.5. Okay, so you add that together, you're at 2.25 total. Spot number 7, top right corner, nothing there. Middle spot, aka spot 8. Oh, look, an X3 that I totally didn't just mock up in Photoshop. So you do plus 2.4 plus 2.4. Because it's 2 units of 2.4, which is technically, it's a multiplier on your bet amount, but it's not that simple. Well, I added them up and got 7.05. Well, that's more than 5.3, so you should play this. If that X3 wasn't there, it's not even close and you should not play this. Now, little warning, if spot 9 had a big old multiplier on it, the mini has like an X3 and the minor has like an X3, and that's it. The rest of the grid is blank. I probably still wouldn't play that unless it was a really, really low denomination. Because your odds of getting spot 9 or one of the reds is really low. Like, technically, if you were to repeat that scenario 1,000 times in your lifetime, you will come out ahead on average. But it's so likely to hit the lower ones that I wouldn't really mess with it. And you'd be playing for quite a while until those hit, in theory. I think you'd be in for like 100 spins, so I mean, okay, not the end of the world, but that's more than I want because this is a short run game. Now, I promise an even simpler way to do this. You can just estimate and then verify the exact numbers later. So just with my eyes, 3 or 4 multipliers, okay, for sure. If there's 1 or 2 that is actually incapable of equaling 5.3. But you could just say, okay, ignore the red, Top row of blue is 2, middle row is 1, bottom row is 0.5, so half a point. And then just say, does it equal 5.5? And then you could verify it with the actual chart. You wouldn't want to do the estimate and then actually run it based on that because you could have some really bad numbers. I mean, look at that middle row. 1.5, 1.25, and 0.75 are very different numbers. But 2s, 1s, and halves are really, really easy to do in your head. Now, I keep saying short run or long run. What do I mean by that? You ever play Hexbreaker, Wheel of Fortune, High Roller Edition? The classic versions of Stack 'em Up, Wolf Run Eclipse, you're in for 2, 3, 4,000 spins. Regal Riches, 10,000 spins, I don't know, a lot. Depends what you're trying to hit, by the way. But yeah, those are what I call long run machines. So if you're going to risk that much money over that many spins, the volatility, the variance versus like, 110% return are not worth it. On this machine, this I would call a short run. I mean, there are shorter, but like I said, it goes off for every 1 in 16, 1 in 17 spins, somewhere in between that number. Seems to widen out at pennies and shrink a little bit on dollars, but I didn't have enough time to split it off like that. That was just kind of what I witnessed and averaged in my head. Now, if you walk up to Ultimate X, you play one hand. That's really simple, video poker, hey. But then if you play Scarab, it turns the Scarabs into wilds on exactly spin number 10. So if you walk up, there's 3 Scarabs on the left, and it's 2 out of 10, you know it's only going to cost you 8 spins exactly on the dot. This one, I think the worst run I saw was 88 spins before it did the bonus. So it could turn into a really, really bad run, but you could just get the free spins on the first spin, who knows. And this entire time, you could get a really, really high progressive jackpot. So if you've got the bankroll for it, just know what you're in for. I would say set aside 100 bets of absolutely nothing happening, I guess, just in case. It could do worse than that, and if that's your entire bankroll, you just wiped it out with one machine. So that's why when I tell people bring 1,000 times your bet, I mean your entire bankroll. And you might be thinking, Bud Ness, have you ever walked into a casino at 4 a.m. with Shane and went together $1,000 a piece on one machine, had it go a nightmare run from a low number to a high number with 0 bonuses and wipe out your entire bankroll instantly the second you get there? Yes, I have. We probably shouldn't have been doing $8 a spin. The numbers were well within our favor, but we still shouldn't have done it. Don't start what you can't finish and prioritize short-run machines over long-run machines. I cannot stress that enough. But yeah, this is a fairly safe, fairly short-run machine that can go a little bit longer sometimes. Now, I should mention one bonus doesn't wipe the entire field of multipliers. So you could get a bonus, hit like one multiplier or no multipliers or, one high value and the mults are still there and it's still in a positive state and you have to keep playing. Or you hit one bonus that had 3 heads in it. The 3 heads didn't hit anything good. And now you got part of your money back, but now you have to keep going. I mean, have to is such a strong term, but it's still in a positive state. So don't just say, 17 spins and I'm out. No, it's going to take more than 16 or 17 spins to get you into a negative board state in all likelihood. But also there will be some smaller or even larger wins in that time, on average. So that's about it. If you want some other good information, explanations, full here's why I did the math the way I did, here's why you should play this, here's a breakdown of everything you need to know about it, what's the volatility, how many spins are you in for, all that, I give it out all for free on this channel on a playlist called How to Beat Casino, so go watch that. Subscribe, obviously, you don't want to forget what the name of the channel is. And then go try and find it. I've done that enough times that, no. And if you want to go check out my Patreon, link in the description in the comments. And we got the full extra fast reference guides over there for a couple bucks. Thanks for watching, everybody. This was the most requested slot machine by far on my Patreon and in my comment section, so I had to cover it. But I think I'm going to go cover way simpler stuff like the Lemming game and Wolf Peak. Oh, and that Grand Buddha thing, the new Gold Buddha, whatever it's called. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.